Hi everybody, it's Linnea, and today I'm going to be making a fun little kind of a paper pieced card design using one of my favorite paper packs from LDRS Creative. This is the Country Lane 6x6 paper pack, and you can see I am down to mostly scraps. I have maybe 6 full sheets left in this pack, so it's time for me to reorder. But I love the patterns and I love the colors in this pack. So I'm just going through and I'm picking out some colors, and I'm kind of picking out, they all go together, but I'm picking out various patterns because you can see that there are like those chevrons in multiple colors. So I'm trying to vary my colors as well as my patterns. Then I'm going to cut these down into 2" by 2" squares. Then I'm going to take that square, turn it to a diamond shape, and cut from one tippy corner to the other tippy corner. Then I'm going to take this triangle and I'm going to cut from the tip straight down again. So this is going to give me 4 triangles from one 2" by 2" square. And then I'm going to be able to take the different patterns and paper piece them together to create a square once again. So I'm going to show you this one more time. It's very easy, but I thought it would be helpful to see it again. So I'm taking a pattern paper and I'm going to cut it down into a 2" by 2" square. I'm turning that and I'm going to cut this on like the diamond shape. I'm cutting from one corner to the next corner, and then I'm going to flatten that out and cut from the corner to the bottom to create 4 triangles from one square. Now I can piece them together, and I'm kind of giving you a little example here of how I'm going to switch out the pattern papers to piece these 4 triangles together to create a quilted design. I used a piece of computer paper and I cut some 2" by 2" squares. This is just so that I can have kind of a piece to work with, so I'm not working with 4 triangles individually. I'm going to be working with one 2" by 2" square. I'm going through my pattern paper pieces. I cut, I believe it was 8. Yes, 8 2" squares, and then cut each of those 2" squares down into 4 triangles. So I have a lot of patterns, a lot of colors. And the Country Lane 6x6 pattern paper pack is double-sided, so I am taking advantage of that. I'm going to be flipping them over and getting a whole bunch of designs here. I'm taking some liquid adhesive and I'm going to glue 4 triangles onto a 2" by 2" square. And remember, the square is just computer paper, just something simple and easy for me to work with. I'm going to be foam mounting the full 2" squares onto my card base, but if you want to, you could take each individual little triangle and foam mount that onto your kind of scrap paper piece, and then also foam mount that onto your card base, and that would give you lots of dimension. Okay, so I cut a card base from white cardstock, and right now it measures 5" by 5". But as I messed around with how I was going to put these 2" by 2" squares onto my cardstock, I thought that it was a little too big, but I'd rather be big and trim it down than have something smaller and need a little extra room. So I cut my card base to be 5" by 5", and I'm using foam tape to mount each of these 4 patchwork squares onto this, kind of in just a design that's going to have a white cross in the center. And then I will take this card base over to my paper trimmer, and I ended up making it just larger than the squares. It ended up being about 4 3/4" square, and that seemed to be the perfect size. I'm using the Miss You sentiment die from LDRS Creative. I cut this twice from black cardstock so that I could put the same sentiment onto each card. I cut enough squares and triangles that I could make 2 cards out of this technique, so that was really fun. And now I'm just going to use little bits of foam tape and pop up the Miss You onto my cards. I found it easiest to start with the O in U because I wanted that to be right in the middle, and then I could work out to the left and the right from there. You can even use that negative paper piece as a guide for how to line these up evenly. So now I have the foam squares, or the squares rather, foam mounted, and the Miss You foam mounted, and that's just enough dimension for me. I'm going to take some liquid shimmer and I'm going to cover over the Miss You sentiment. This is something that I love to do with black cardstock sentiments. I think it really makes them stand out. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this fun paper piecing technique. I have linked all of the LDRS Creative products that I've used in the video description below. Thank you so much for joining me for this video tutorial today. I'll see you again soon. Bye!